Ooh. Spin around.
No.
Spin around for mama. Oh, look at your back.
Get off.
You're so shy. Oh, you ruin it. I look beautiful.
Stunning.
Look at my knees. I can't see your face. Say good mornings. No, I'm going to go. You two have a nice time, won't you? Bye bye. You want a kiss? Mwah.
And a cuddle.
And a cuddle? Aww. And another kiss. And another cuddle. A cuddle. And another kiss. And another cuddle. I gotta go. And another kiss. Mwah. I gotta go. Mama, right back. Good morning. I feel a bit more human now. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so frustrated. You watched my video last week. I'll put a card up here somewhere. I was hoping to put together a upper body workout to complement the lower body workout that I did last week, so you'd all have something to go into Christmas. But yesterday, I was cleaning up my computer and I deleted it. Not only do I delete it, I go to the trash and then I delete it from the trash. I don't know why I did that. So now I've got to do it all again. So here we are today, doing it all again. Today is session 5 of my program, and that is not an upper body program. It is a glute, a delt, and ab program, and it's kind of the last session of the week, so I'm a little bit more tired, so it's not as hard a program. I promised you all a upper body program, and I will do one. I will try and film it for you next week. We'll have 3 workouts that you can take into your Christmas break. Also tonight I've got a really good idea for like a really super healthy but nice meal, because I've got like a load of leftover peppers and pasta and stuff like that, so I'm going to do a little experiment. So we'll get into the kitchen later. I better go because it's now 8 minutes past 8 and I need to be back here for 9:15 because my husband is running a military operation to get to the garden centre so we can go and meet Santa Claus. Let's go hit the gym. The first thing you'll see me do here is check out my workout schedule and refamiliarising myself with my session's intentions. Today is all about glutes, delts and abs. The next thing you'll see me do is just stretch out a little bit, do a series of dynamic warm-ups just to get myself limber and ready to work. I then confidently set up my working area. A lot of my clients feel very intimidated in the gym, and one of the biggest barriers they have to lifting weights, especially setting up things like deadlifts and hip thrusts, is feeling like an imposter, worried that they're setting up the exercise incorrectly and performing it incorrectly. Let's just put this all to rest now. You are not an imposter. You have every right to be in there. You pay to use your gym facility and have every right to explore all the equipment there is to offer. People aren't looking at you, especially in the, quote, men's section. Mostly they're too busy flexing and posing between sets to give 2 shits what you're doing. The first set of exercises I'm doing is a tri-set, starting with glute bridges. These are about the least graceful exercise you can do, but honestly, in my opinion, rarely not the single most effective when it comes to isolating the glutes. Put your shoulder blades and ribs down into the floor and pull your feet in so your knees are towards the ceiling. You want to initiate the move by curling your tailbone under and squeezing your glutes whilst pushing up from your heels. You want to thrust your hips as high as you can with your bottom locked out. If you think you're as high as you can, squeeze and try and get another inch up there. Your arms are only there to support the bar and prevent it from rolling towards your chest. I typically lift my head and curl my chin towards my chest as though I'm performing a hip thrust. You then want to move into your second exercise of dumbbell around the worlds. I look like I'm swinging a little bit, but I actually only feel my last couple of sets, so I'm starting to fatigue a bit. But the fact is, I am remaining in control of the movement. I like to do this movement standing, but I also do it kneeling. No rest, you are moving straight into cable pull-throughs. Depending on how I stand, will depend on where I feel this movement the most. For the purpose of this video, I'm performing some reps with straighter legs or less knee bend, whereby I feel it almost 90% in my hamstrings. But since this is a glute program, I'm keeping a bit more of a bend in my knees and really focusing on squeezing my glutes at the top. Like the deadlift or a hip thrust or a glute thrust or a kettlebell swing, this is a hip hinge movement. Focus on keeping your spine neutral and sending your hips backwards towards the cable machine, breaking your hips first. The flexion of the hips is the primary movement. I keep my head in line whilst Focus on keeping your spine neutral and sending your hips backwards towards the cable machine, breaking your hips first. I also keep my hands and my forearms glued to my inner thighs. I'm keeping my shoulder blades back and lats locked. And to return to the top of the movement, this is done exactly like a bridge, squeezing my glutes and almost tucking my tailbone in at the top of the move. I repeated this tricep 3 times and I did around 12 to 15 reps for every exercise, resting for around a minute between each set. The next sets of exercises I move into is a superset of sumo deadlifts into a front lat raise complex. With a sumo deadlift, you should have your feet positioned wider than your hands and your hands should be wider than shoulder width. Your feet should be spread far apart with your toes out at about a 30-degree angle. Actual stance and hand position is based on variables such as height and anatomy, so please take this just as general advice. You want to get your body completely behind the bar and therefore keeping the bar as close to you as possible. Literally scrape it up your shins as you sit back and think about spreading the floor with your feet and pushing your knees out. You want to thrust your hips forward to meet the bar at the top of the movement. As soon as your deadlifts are done, go and grab a set of dumbbells and alternate front raise with a lateral raise. Try and keep your hips locked and still and just rotate your arms. You can use a little bit of momentum in the concentric phase of the movement, but return it under control in the eccentric portion of the movement. Again, with the first delt exercise, you can do it either standing or kneeling. I did this superset 3 sets of 12 reps. I do teach sumo deadlifts to the majority of my clients, whether it be with cables or dumbbells or kettlebells, as it's a very powerful exercise when it comes to developing the posterior chain. The next superset is the thing that I actually found the hardest of this whole session because I'm not really that great at high reps. I'm a former power lifter and a lazy one at that, so smashing out 48 reps in one set hands me my ass. First, starting with a lateral lunge and a curl. You can do this 2 ways. 1, work lighter and use a dumbbell that you can curl without using any swing or momentum, as I'm doing here, separating the lateral lunge and the curl part of the movement. Or you can do it the second way, using a heavier dumbbell that you need to create momentum by going from the lunge straight into the curl. I personally prefer this way, mostly and quite obviously because my legs are indeed stronger than my biceps. Once you've done both sides, pick up the other dumbbell and take it into squat thrusters. I chose a narrow foot position for my squat, and with the dumbbells held at shoulder height, I drop into my squat and use the momentum of my leg drive to thrust the bell straight into the air and back down onto my shoulder as I go into my next squat. I did this 10 to 12 reps on each side. Remember to sit right back into your squat, keeping your chest up high, shoulder blades back and down, and bracing tightly through your core. I did 2 sets of 12 reps for each exercise. I couldn't face a third because I thought it was awful. I always finish glute day off with an isolation exercise. Today I chose the hip adductor machine and I did 2 sets to failure. I always position myself with a slight forward bend and always keep the resistance on, meaning I don't bring my legs fully back together. As soon as I finished my glutes, I galloped upstairs to do my abs, and I kept it really simple today. I just stuck with cable crunches into pulses and I superset that with Russian twists. The cable crunch is a really effective exercise to isolate your rectus abdominis if you get your positioning right. You want to kneel upright and keep your hips completely fixed. They shouldn't be moving back and forth to generate momentum. If you do, you won't feel anything in your abs and you'll likely feel everything in your hip flexors. You want to focus on curling through your thoracic spine, tucking your head under towards your thighs on the concentric portion of the movement, and then almost hyperextending into your lower back, keeping your glutes tight so that you can fully stretch out your abs at the top of the movement. I finished them off with these little mini pulses by just contracting my abs. I then went straight into cable Russian twists, which is everything. It works your transverse abdominis, your internal and external obliques, your multifidus, your erector spinae, everything. I set the cables at shoulder height and stand away from the machine, keeping my arms stretched out. You should have the weight of the rack because at no point should you lose tension in your core. You want to focus on keeping your glutes locked so you don't use your hips to drive the movement. I did 12 reps before turning around and repeating 12 on the other side. I did 3 sets of this ab and core superset before I had to call it a day. I hope you enjoyed this workout, and if you do try it, leave me a comment below. I'll also be sure to put the full workout details in the description box below.
I've just had to cut my
ab workout short because it's 9:15 and Rem's going to kill me because he's like on mission, get Rocco to the garden centre to see Santa in the grotto before the queue starts. So I've cut everything short. I've looked a little bit through the footage and I have a lot to learn about angles and lighting and stuff, but when I'm filming in public gyms, I do try to be really respectful of people around me, and I feel like kind of a knobhead, like filming myself working out. I have got to get dressed and ready to go and drive back in 15 minutes, or else I'm probably headed for divorce.
That's a bit scary.
That one's a bit scary, is it?
Don't get on!
Your plan backfired, Rem.
How? Surely they've just opened.
You want to hold my hands? Oh.
1, 2, 3!
I did originally film a bit of a live catch-up, but I wasn't sure anyone would be interested, so I opted to go straight into the most delicious pasta dish ever. It was incredibly easy to make and utterly delicious, so I'll put the full recipe details in the description box below. I really hope you enjoyed spending the day with me. Let me know if you want to see a bit more in the way of like a vlog style video where I share a little bit more of my family life. I went through a phase of filming them as they went down really well, but for some reason I keep on chickening out of posting them. I've even been filming things like speed cleans and speed organisation videos and tips for getting organised so you can fit healthy practices into your life, but I don't know, is this something you're interested in? Leave me a comment below, let me know, and if so, I'll make those sort of videos. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Please give my video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next Thursday.